Well, for this fight, Combat Video's got the privilege to welcome along Norm Storm Graham to the microphone. Norm, good to have you aboard. Well known in the kickboxing game, and of course now well known in the boxing game as well.
Yeah, thanks Tony. Thanks for inviting us along to have a say on this fight.
Well, it's the first of our title fights tonight. The North Island Light Middleweight Amateur title between Cowley, the man in the black shorts, up against Dwayne Flower. First time these two boys have went the supreme distance, Norm, and is that going to play a part in this fight?
Well, they're both well trained. They come from gyms where they've been training for 5 rounds, so I expect there should be no problem. It may, in the last round, we'll see.
Well, Carl, well known, of course, for his hands. Has knocked out opponents before. Dwayne, pretty good in the kicking department, but that's something that Carl's been working on of late too.
Yeah, Carl looks like he's concentrating here, as with his opponent. Just feeling one another out right now. Carl tends to move around a lot, very hard to hit, very quick with his hands, and there we see him there attempting a takedown. Carl is a strong, aggressive fighter. Like you said, he won his first 2 or 3 matches by knockout, but by the strength of his hands. Feeling out one another out right now. Carl tends to hold his hands very low, but he also gets a punch away from there. Oh, it's almost like he wants to lure him in for his hand shots, because he is aware of his hand defense. There we go there.
Yeah, good call, Norm. Yes, he's looking for the counter attack.
Yeah, very good charge there.
And has fought with more confidence, I believe, over the last couple of fights that I've seen him.
Yeah, I think he's become a more relaxed fighter. I think once you get over the hang-up of having no losses, as opposed to, it sometimes frees you up to actually fight your fight.
Yeah, well, we follow him back to his corner. He's a process worker, trained, of course, by George Ellis.
Fantastic game to get out there and punch with our...
This is his 9th fight, so he's quite experienced.
Yeah, he's catching up to me in that realm. Yeah, he is actually. I wish I could get as many fights as regularly as what he has. I do actually, but unfortunately they seem to be very good fighters that I fight, to say the least.
Well, some of the fighters that he's fought, Raz Baker, he knocked out Dave Hinari in the first round. He fought Graham Heel in his second fight. He knocked him out in round 2, and I think that was a little bit of his undoing, because I believe that he relied on the one punch to end the fight, and I think it just put him off his fight. He waited and waited for that big one punch. It often didn't come, and he had a few losses, a couple of losses, then started to string the wins together again, and he's back here now fighting for a title.
Yeah, it's definitely a confident fighter. Very much a chess game going on here. Carl, although it looks always like he's on the back foot, he does have his surges. It's a young man standing in front of him.
Dwayne Flower is having his 4th fight tonight.
Yes, he doesn't look put off or phased at all by Carl's method. It's not strictly a Thai boxing method, but it works for him on a greater proportion of times. Good check. He's a very strong boy, is Carl. Dwayne the equal on this occasion. A good height advantage there to Dwayne. I'd like to see him actually start popping out a few high kicks. We may well see them coming.
Yeah, well, maybe his corner has told him to just take it easy. First time over 5 rounds. And, of course, training with some experienced boys that fight regularly on the international circuit. I'm talking about fighters like the Misfits, Jojo, Anchor Jazz, and that, they've probably taught him a thing or two about pacing his rounds.
Yeah, he's very blessed to have those name fighters in his gym, and to have the caliber of the trainers. There is no substitute for professional training. I mean, if you're in the gym somewhere in the back blocks, okay, you stand a good chance if you put your effort in. But hey, look, people have been there, they've done that, they're not learning, they're passing on what they do know, not what they think.
Well, we go back to Dwayne's corner at the moment. He's a sign rider, loves having a game of touch and rugby as well. Weighed in at 69.5. That's about the weight he's been fighting throughout his career. He feels comfortable at that. Had his first fight back at the end of last year, so he's been fighting regularly, as you say, and that's always a good thing too.
Yes, I haven't actually seen Dwayne fight that I know of, but so far he's looking equal to the match. There's a very strictly a chess game going on at the moment. Testing and flurries. It's hard to say whether this is actually going to progress much along that unless Dwayne starts pulling out his kicks and piecing his handwork together. His gym definitely enthusiastic over his chances there. Maintaining a good hand guard. Carl, yes, stepping it up now. His corner would have told him, his expert George Ellis would have told him, okay, step it up, mate. If you want this title, you've got to go and seize it. You cannot come up to Auckland and reasonably expect to win a title by fooling around.
Well, both boys negating themselves there. Tom Fisatua pulls them apart. And
yeah, Carl on the attack. Dwayne's displaying a good Carl threw 4 or 5 punches, landed one good right hand in that. So good defence by Dwayne. I've seen many a fighter actually take the full 5 or 6 combinations off. Yeah, good left. Oh, good hand attack. Warning there by Tom. Tom obviously thinking the punch is a bit short.
And a hint of an elbow in there, according to Tom Fisatua. Well, Dwayne trying to load up with a big one of his own.
Yeah, it's pouring on now. Carl's responding. This is starting to turn into a fight. This is becoming a fight, a challenge that's been issued, and the boys are fighting.
Now it's the one who loses the game plan now that could also lose the fight.
Yeah, I believe when Carl gets a little tired, he gets his sneakiest. You watch this, he looks like nothing and he's trying to launch with a right hand again. A very clever fighter. When he's tired, watch out. That's when he does harness 1s and 2s, but he puts everything in them.
Dwayne still holding his guard up, still looks fresh. He still looks capable of pulling something out himself.
Yes, I'd like to actually see him step in with a few more kicks to those legs. In order to slow the boxer down, you've got to go plant their legs, drill their legs. I'm sure that's what his corner will be telling Dwayne. Both corners working pretty furious there.
And while we're looking over in the corner and seeing George Ellis attending to Carl, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in your career?
Yeah, well, I've been fighting in the boxing circuit as well as my last boxing fight against Jojo up here. My next fight is scheduled for the 24th of this month of July against Nick Misich. And well, I am hoping that this is actually a title fight. As I just mentioned there, I hope severely it is a title fight. Nick is a very capable young man, a very hard fighter. But I do the boxing and I do the Thai boxing. So, hey, us Thai boxers will get in with you boxers any day of the week. We'll give away 30Ks too.
Well, you never won to turn a fight down, and I believe that you took a fight on what could be described as short notice a week or so ago.
Yeah, half an hour is a pretty long time, really. 2 weight divisions, the guy was higher than me. I tell you what, he gave me a bit of a flogging, but hey, we stayed up, eh?
Oh, big knee there by Dwayne Flower.
Yeah. Strong boy. I'd like to see the legs go a little more, maybe a bit tense in this fight. There's a lot of pressure when you step up to a 5-round fight, first time. Yeah, his head's down, he's going in, he's going to have to watch that. A lot of stress goes on a young fighter in this situation. He's fighting an experienced campaigner from a good gym. Another good gym coming out of Waikato. But thanks to the Aucklanders inviting us up here, our calibre is coming up too. We may not be the best, but we are getting better. Good attack, and body shots coming in here. It's getting a little untidy when it comes to the clinch.
Well, the Waikato's proved they have got some very good fighters. We're going to see another one up here, although he was nurtured in, well, I suppose he was nurtured in Australia, really. Ethan Shep I talk about, and he's going to be stepping up against Moreki Hinari, and that's the next bout. But right at the moment, we're still in the middle of the North Island light middleweight title, and still anybody's fight.
Actually, I agree with your call 100%. This one can go anyway. Whoever asserts the dominance here, when they're coming in close, they start to wrap up. It's just buying a bit of time, really. Good kick, beautiful kick. Wild swing. Those fighters still fighting for ascendancy. There's neither fighter is gaining the dominance, I don't believe, at this stage. It's just still a strong fight.
In the round 4.
1 round to go, and Cowley used all his experience in that round, and we go back with Dwayne, and what will they be saying? I believe in my own mind, I think that he's just a little bit behind at the moment. What has he got to do to turn this around, Norm?
Which one?
Market security
I think Dwayne.
Yeah. What's Dwayne got to do to turn it around, you say? Dwayne's got to go out there and start stamping in those kicks. He's got 1 round to do it in. At the same time, he's not out of here yet. I think this is going to be a fairly hard one to score. It's got a little messy, but hey, these guys are fighting. They're tough, hard fighters. 1 punch, 1 kick could end the match. Carl, dangerously lightning quick hands. Maybe he'll rely on that in the last round. Also, he's been here before, so hey, this comes down to who wants it now. Who really wants it?
Well, Philip Lamb has just told him what you told the viewers.
Let's get behind the fighters. Round 5.
Now is Cowley going to move? I don't think so. He's too much of a fighter to do that.
No, he's not. He's tricky. He's a very tricky fighter. Hey, he's got lightning quick little hands. He can actually bang quite hard if you stand in front of him. So Dwayne's actually doing a good job here. He's being caught by a few then. He's swapping, trading punches here. However, the cleaner shots seem to be coming from Carl at this stage, but hey, which way the judges see it? It's got to be a fight for dominance here. I don't see a lot of front kicks going on to keep your opponent away. Here goes one now. That's smart and astute. A beautiful uppercut being thrown now. Dwayne seems to be going for the knees. A little curved knee. They take a toll. Those knees being wrapped around constantly on the thigh. This is a hard one to call. Beautiful kicks going on here. Carl once again trying for the thigh with his knee. Still very much a checker game going on here. You'd expect 2 or 3 rounds there to work each other out, but hey, it's not easy when you have 2 skilled opponents against each other. One a puncher, one a kicker, primarily. Not saying that they can do both, but one is primarily a specialist kicker, another a handman.
Well, Dwayne, he's trying hard to, and I don't think he really needs to resort to playing catch up as yet, because he still possesses the skill to do a good job late in this round.
I believe so. I totally agree there, Tony. It's nearing the end of the fight here. Carl, you have to put the work in.
That's it.
Very confident.
For the Middleweight Championship between Dwayne and
Well, Ellis Jim seemed to be confident.
Judges' decision.